Hi, my name is Jacob, and I don't watch very much anime. I also have two other people here, but they don't need to say anything.
Hi, my name is Kane, and I just spent the last 3 days watching Hunter x Hunter, and I'm on episode 105.
Kane usually goes first. I was waiting for him to go.
Wait, 100? How many episodes of Hunter x Hunter are there?
There's 148.
So you're almost done.
Yeah, and I've only been watching it for like 3 days.
Oh, so then I don't think I finished it then yet. I think I know something.
Anyway,
Kenneth? That'll be the next podcast. Yeah, what's up? It's Kenneth. Hey.
Today we're talking about My Hero Academia. This is going to be episodes 13 through 16. We're starting with episode 13, In Each of Our Hearts.
Hell yeah.
In this one, All Might just has to hold off the main villains long enough for the teachers to get there because he's basically depleted all of his energy. He just fought off the Nomu, and he's got to kind of hold his own without depowering or dying. Right.
So it's every story arc of Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
Yeah.
He is bluffing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all a bluff because he can't fight.
But it's not just a bluff for the villain. It's a bluff for the kids. It's a bluff for everybody who's watching. Mm-hmm. So he's put so much pressure on himself as All Might, and we see that right away.
And in this one, he is about to lose, he's about to be found out. Then Deku shows up. He throws this huge punch that doesn't go anywhere, but manages to distract him long enough that the teachers can show up and save the day.
Right. Well, I mean, we get the guy with the gun who
shows up and he just starts
straight up shoot people.
I love him.
Like he hits Shigaraki 4 times.
Right in the legs. Shigaraki's just down. You're like, whoa, that's graphic.
And when they get there, they show how far the entrance is from the mountain area.
Yeah.
And that's where Kaminari and them are with the electrical dude.
Right.
And he shoots the electrical guy with a pistol.
Right. The guy who has a skull for a face, right?
Yeah, and he hits him twice from that far with a pistol. What is that man's power?
Yeah. One of the quotes is, this is from Deku, this is an experience we were not ready for. Mm-hmm. To risk our lives in a fight like this. But they do it, and that's and they make a big deal in the start episode that's the wonder of Class 1A. They are not ready to fight these villains, but they're doing it just fine because they have to.
Well, it's echoing exactly what Deku did in the second episode. He can't do anything to take on the Sludge Demon, but he does it because that's what heroes do.
These kids are going to be fine heroes someday. Mm-hmm. That jump. Deku notices that the gas, the steam off of his buff form is going
off of his man.
He
body.
just remembers that's
man steam.
Yeah, his hot All Might body. He sees the steam come off of it, and he's like,
he knows
that's the shit that when he goes back in the tiny skeleton man form, I gotta do something about it. Yeah. We see when Deku does this is one of my favorite moments of this episode. We see Bakugo once again watching Deku jump. We get a glimpse of his face. The other characters are like, well, this kid's crazy. Bakugo, we see, once again, Deku is jumping into the line of fire and doing something when I'm just standing here and watching. Mm-hmm. And we see how frustrated he is.
Yeah.
Even though the day is saved and things are going, we see Bakugo's face of being like, why am I not doing this? Why didn't I jump to save All Might?
Bakugo wants the day to be saved, but he wants the day to be saved by him.
Right, but he didn't do it.
Yeah.
If he wanted the day to be saved by him, then why didn't he do it?
And he's noticing that this is a thing, this is a hang-up for him. He's afraid here, yeah.
Yep. It's his fear.
And he doesn't want to talk about his fear. He'll never tell anybody he's afraid because that requires... Well, yeah, but also fear and sadness are two emotions that are so hard for guys like Bakugo to talk about because they've built up so much posturing in how tough they are and how their anger is their power.
Right.
When, in reality... Oftentimes, your sadness and your fear here can be your power as long as you are willing to discuss their existence.
Right.
Unless you're a Green Lantern.
True. The heroes show up because of Ida.
Yes.
Yeah.
They show up because Ida was able to save the day.
So if we were talking about 2 weeks ago, Ida was afraid to leave the class because he's their leader. But by leaving the class and using his power to its best ability, he was able to actually save the day, just in a very unconventional way. Well, not a very unconventional way, but in not an indirect way.
Not in a classic heroic way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how the day is saved, though. It just needs to be saved.
Just a second, Kane. Before we do that, Kenneth, you just said something really, really true and really important. It doesn't matter how the day is saved.
Yeah.
What matters is that they all get out alive.
Yes, absolutely, and they do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we see that at the end of the episode.
And I think
the
this
biggest
is,
thing that comes out from it.
And I think this is a really major part of the show is that a lot of the heroes do care how the day is saved because it matters that they do it. It matters that they look good doing it.
Right. That's the society that they live in.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, that's what sets the people in the top apart. It's not that they look good, although it appears that way. And there's a lot of like societal things that they have to do because they are the top. They are the people that care.
Yeah.
So they have to appease the society based off of how the society's run.
Mm-hmm.
But they're actually at the top for other reasons.
Because like Aizo is not teaching them to do it the pretty way.
No.
I mean, he's not teaching them that like no matter what, because he's still teaching them to be safe and be smart. But he's teaching them that if it gets done, it gets done. Like,
yes.
Like get it done. It doesn't have to be the flashy way.
Right.
Now, I also want to say that I was convinced, absolutely convinced, that this fight was leading up to a scenario wherein the class would find out that All Might has a depowered mode. That they would find out he was weak.
And then we got Gumby coming in.
Yeah, we got Gumby coming in.
Cementos.
Because
Stupid.
Because I kept thinking, okay, this is perfect. The whole class finds out. Now the whole class has to keep his secret. Maybe a lot of them do, but maybe like there's one who can't, and maybe that's his downfall. And like I could see that story playing out. That's not what it was.
Nah.
I'm okay with it either way. I mean,
Cementos hits him with that bullshit.
Right now, it needs to be a burden for Deku.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Spider-Man Peter Parker. It needs to be his Peter Parker.
Yeah,
right
I guess
now.
maybe I'm just kind of always looking for a good status quo shakeup.
Right. I mean, it's more interesting that way. But I think Kenneth hit it.
It's
right. You know, nail right in the coffin. Like that's the point of the episode was that everything was okay in the end because these kids nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
These kids handled the situation correctly. These kids saved the day. All Might and the heroes as well, risking their lives as heroes do. But the kids were just as much a part of everybody coming out alive as the heroes who, you know, were doing the big fighting and the big fights.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just All Might, right? All Might came and he fought the Nomu. Great.
Wait, but wouldn't it help if All Might's secret is then revealed? Because then they have to realize that this was them?
That would shake up so much more. This lesson's all about everybody getting out alive.
I think it's
not
still
about not about them realizing that they can take on anything yet.
Yeah, but they couldn't. Now the world is much more dangerous because they couldn't get out alive without All Might, and now the thing that they depended on didn't work.
But
Right.
I think that's Izuku's personal thing of having to replace All Might. Is he
Yeah.
knows that he not just be replaced, but replaced as soon as possible.
Right.
Because he knows that because like he finds out.
Yeah, but then the ticking clock is even faster because now they have to do it before anybody else finds out.
I think the narrative that you're expecting would rush and shake up things too much, because I think you're undermining in your head how important him as a symbol of peace is to their entire world.
But I think that because he's so important, that's exactly why it needs to be taken away.
I agree with you. I just don't think this is the story they're telling right now.
Yeah,
The story is about the
It'd
kids.
be a
growing
lot of
up.
madness.
But that's why it's interesting.
You're right, and it's gonna be there all through the show.
Okay.
To keep you coming back, right?
Yeah.
The show, oh man, the 4th season's coming out this year. And by the way, if anybody is watching on Verve, the 1st season is now back on Verve, and you can watch it.
And seasons 2 and 3 are now on Hulu.
Yes, so all the watching abilities for all you anime lovers out there. Glad that got resolved, because that was like, I have to go back and forth between different streaming services. Oh my goodness. Thank gosh I can watch My Hero Academia in my preferred place.
Or you could watch it the underground way.
No, go away,
Don't do that.
Aizawa.
Support your creators.
Support them. It's good content. 4th season's coming out. Watch it. It's gonna be good. The comics are about like 3 seasons ahead of what's already available in terms of the manga. They're about like 3 seasons ahead of like the timeline of where we left off in the animation, but man, it just exponentially the story gets better and better and better. So I'm excited to be rewatching this.
Mm-hmm. Now this episode is really intense at the beginning.
This is the season finale.
Yeah, but I love that after that it's super chill. It's a really nice chill episode after that,
and kind of heartwarming.
And yeah, it focuses more on being heartwarming than being really action oriented.
The show does the heartwarming stuff really well.
You get to meet Sansa, the cat.
Oh,
the cat guy.
Oh yeah.
Who's literally just a cat.
Yep. He's just and they're like, they make the comment. They're like, why isn't he a dog if he's a cop? It's like, well,
don't pigeonhole him.
You got your point across, creators. You like to do backwards, crazy things.
But it's like
he's the cat of
But he's not like a big buff cat guy.
No, he's just a regular dude.
Yeah, he's a dude who wanted to help.
Also, one of my favorite characters is introduced, Tsukauchi, the detective.
Is that the cop? Yeah,
the detective.
I love that he appears to be quirkless, and I love that.
Yep.
Because he doesn't have a quirk, but just like Deku, he's doing the best he can to help.
And he does a goddamn good job.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's quirkless. I don't know off the top of my head, but he
looks like he could be Tenya's brother.
Yeah. I think he's just like a regular dude, though, for the most part. If he does have a quirk, it's nothing crazy, and he's not about.
Yeah,
it's not. He doesn't care about the flashiness of being a superhero. He cares about helping people.
He might have a quirk like Deku's mom.
He
doesn't really do much.
One of All Might's friends, close friends. He knows the secret. We see that in this episode. He walks in. Deku's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And All Might's like,
then it's like, All Might vouches for this guy, so you know he's out there doing shit.
Helping people.
Yeah.
You know he's a good dude.
Yeah. Well, he's like Jimmy Olsen or Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
He's like a dude who's like, he's not the flashy one, he's not out there doing it, but you know he wants the best for the world, and he's trying to do...
But even more, because those two don't know who Superman and Batman is.
Yeah.
Also,
like, he knows All Might is this...
regular guy.
He's more like Ned from Spider-Man Homecoming.
Right.
Yeah.
And most importantly, if he wants to help people, he respects this symbol of peace idea. He seems to agree with it. Whereas we've had other characters like Nurse Lady.
Oh yeah.
Is that her actual name, right?
Recovery Girl.
Recovery Girl.
Yeah.
Nurse Lady, Recovery Girl, same shit.
Yeah. Recovery Girl is literally like, are you sure that this is like you're saying, Jacob? Are you sure this is the right thing to do? Like, is the symbol of peace BS like really that important? But we have a character who seems to respect that, and we don't know how long he's known of this secret. Clearly for the 6 months since then, and we know he's a big part of investigations of bigger things like this terrorist attack of like the evil League of Villains now.
And I want to say, because we have a brief scene where Fingerface, what's his name?
Tomura Shigaraki, where they say it over and over and over again, like they want us to remember his name because he's Tomura Shigaraki.
Shigaraki, Tomura.
I beat it out and replaced it with Fingerface in my head. They wasn't good enough. They didn't say it enough to beat out Fingerface.
Hey, he's finger body. He's got fingers all over.
Yeah, it's all over his arms, his legs. He's
I just came up with a fun name.
He's more like hand body, hand face.
But if I said something like that, I wouldn't remember it.
Yeah.
Fingerface is a memorable name.
You're right.
Anyway, he's talking to this vague, shadowy Emperor Overlord type. And what I love is that when he is, the voice on the other end says, well, we failed, but at least we did under that, like, stupid, cheap-ass League of Villain name. I love that the League of Villains is like a burner league. Like, it exists just to fuck up because they know they need to fuck up publicly occasionally.
Yep.
I love that.
They also know they did shake up a little
Yeah.
bit. There was things to be gained from it. They shook up the school security.
Yeah, but like the League of Villains exists to do that, to do something more risky because maybe we'll fail, but at least like we won't fail. The
League
of Villains
fails.
failed. But like we needed them to do it.
Yeah.
Which means they're consciously thinking of their public image as villains.
Yeah, and also right. I mean, just the same. It's the same society as the heroes are.
Yeah.
Just the other spectrum. They're your regular criminals and thugs and stuff, but to be a villain.
Yeah.
We've got to be organized. We've got to have our own. We're villains. Like people want to be villains just as much as they want to be heroes.
And like you said, it's the same basic society. If you want to be a hero, people need to see you as strong, people need to see you as confident, and people need to see you as worth following. If you want to be a villain, people need to see you as strong, they need to see you as confident, they need to see you as worth following. The only difference is, instead of out of respect, it's out of fear.
Yep, absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And what did they do? They instilled fear into people by infiltrating the school.
Mm-hmm.
The security's shaken up. They're going to take higher security risks. What are parents going to say about their kids being threatened?
Oh, damn, that's a good point.
Like, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. We're leaving it on a note of everybody's okay, everybody survived this, but this is a big deal.
But this is what happens when you make God bleed. People stop believing in him.
Yep.
Even if you didn't kill him, you made him bleed.
But one of the characters says, one of the nice things, and one of the biggest takeaways for me here is, All Might says, the villains did something dumb.
Mm-hmm.
These students are strong now because of this.
Yeah.
They're way stronger than they would have been. They got thrown in, then not only did they get thrown in something they weren't prepared for, but they did it, and they all came out alive, and they all came out better from it. Which means they are now exponential. Their growth is going to be exponential compared to what they were being prepared to do. They've already done it.
Yeah.
Which is referenced in the next couple episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
Where they're ahead of everybody else in the school.
Right, including Class 1B, right?
Yeah, the other
hero
course.
class. They're behind. It's not because the 1A is, as we'll talk about, like, it's not because they're cocky and they're assholes and they're prideful. It's because they went through some shit.
Yeah.
They went through some shit and it shows.
Mm-hmm. And with that, we wrap up season 1. Yay!
Yay!
After that, they have a little OVA
notebook.
hero notebook. Yeah, it's just
With Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams.
Yep.
There's a scene where Deku
is crying in the rain. What do you want from me?
If you're a
All
birdman,
Might?
I'm a birdman.
Stop crying, Deku. Literally.
OVAs.
I think that's in the first episode, actually, of season 2. He says that.
I think so.
He's like, I wish you'd fucking stop crying all the time.
Yeah, OVAs are always.
I don't know, because also this one the OVA, this Hero Notebook ends with him literally saying, it's okay to fall, it's okay to cry, you just have to keep moving forward. So I kind of don't like when they make fun of him for crying, because to me an important part of this was that it is okay to cry.
It is okay to cry, and it's part of why he's a good, he's an empathetic character.
Mm-hmm.
But what matters is not that you're crying, in the fight.
Yeah,
you want to
cry.
come back with a smile.
Exactly, like
You
All
want
Might
to come
does.
out with a
It's simple.
smile. You want to, the end of the last episode where we're talking about, you like how they come out of it in sort of a positive note. Everybody's alive. Everybody's safe. The thumbs up when he's in the fight. Like, of course, yet crying. Like you're saying, you got to be confident when you're a hero. You can cry when you need to cry.
Yeah.
But if you're crying in front of other people, unless it's a moment, of mourning or empathy, if you're just crying because you're scared,
Well, then you're letting your fear control you.
it's better to smile and fight that back until it's time. There's a time and place.
It feels like the exercise we would do in dance class. Can you remember this? Kane and I were in the same movement class back in the academy.
Oh, back in the day.
And our instructor, while we were doing our warm-ups, would come down and be like, come on, guys. Every time you do a sit-up, I want you to take a headshot. Come on. And he'd stand in front of us, and he'd put his hands out like he was taking a picture of us, and be like, headshot.
Yeah.
And we always had to smile, no matter how much pain we were in. Because if you're going to be a good dancer, you have to always be ready to have your head shot.
And in general, those kinds of classes have an effect on me in the real world. Mm-hmm. I was just at a concert for Anthony Rapp and Adam Pascal, singers from Rent. The musical or the film, if you've not heard of Rent before. Yeah. They were just doing a show in California, and I went with a friend of mine. And when I went up to take pictures with them, you can tell that they're kind of, there was a huge line, and we were about halfway through the line, like 50 people in front of me to take pictures, right? You can tell they're kind of like, so we shook hands, we didn't really say anything, I just stood in front, and like literally, because we're trained to do the smile, like camera, here you go. Yeah. Hands on the shoulders, they look at I got a great picture out of it, but they were both kind of like shocked at how fast I like clicked into it, and then the guy taking the picture was like, wow, you guys look really handsome in this picture. He was like surprised that it went that easily, though. It wasn't like he was like, you look really handsome in this picture.
Yes, sir. I'm used to his headshots while doing sit-ups.
I've got the, and now that you mentioned it, I'm like, oh man, I trained. We did the sit-up training with the headshot smile. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. And the same, because I feel like it's, you do it, I do it, all of our friends do it.
Yeah.
And it's weird when we go back home and everybody's like, okay, and everybody smile, and you're already like snapping and ready.
You're already in place.
Yeah, because we literally trained to do that.
Yeah. Oh man. Anyway. Yeah. It's a very Kenneth. I don't know about the sports industry, but being in the performance industry, there's some weird shit you have to do, and I think this show in particular shows some of that weird shit.
Yeah.
Like they really nail it. They're like, being a celebrity is fucking bizarre. Yeah. But you have to be trained for it.
Yeah. And it's such a weird, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
The weird shit you gotta do with sports is like, you'd be like Kobe, and the game's at 7 p.m. and Kobe's at the gym at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Putting up shots like all day. And it's like, by himself.
Yeah.
It's like everybody else is getting to the gym like for the game.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I gotta have 2 practices of the day of the game.
Yeah.
It's like, right, Kobe, it's, right, you're crazy.
That's crazy. I feel like I'd be afraid of being tired.
Kobe isn't afraid of anything.
Yeah, well,
Kobe doesn't get tired.
Kobe is crazy, and that's why he has 5 championships.
I also want to draw out a quick fun fact. I asked my cousin / roommate Elizabeth about this because I noticed that Deku always uses these Campos notebooks with an O.
Yeah.
They are a real notebook. It's a parody of a real notebook called Campus with a U that they use in Japan. They're basically where we have the black and white like cow print composition notebooks. Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. They don't have spiral notebooks over there because they don't conserve space very well. And if you want to conserve space, you don't use those.
Yeah.
I don't like spiral notebooks anyway. I'd much rather have the composition book.
They don't stack up very nicely.
Didn't add anything to the conversation, I just thought it was offhandedly interesting.
There's not a lot of space in Japan.
Can we talk about how this episode is called That's the Idea, Ochaco?
Yes, episode 14.
The love of my life.
And I believe
that's a direct quote from my notes.
That's the idea refers to when they're asking her why she got into this in the first place, and she says she got into this
by that paper.
Really? Because I thought it was the scene where she says, "I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best," and everybody's like, "What the fuck is this girl doing?" they're like, "You're really fucking scared of me."
Yeah, when she was like, "Go crazy."
I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best. She just keeps saying it over and over again.
She goes dark in that moment.
Right. The back half of the class is literally like,
well, she's got such an interesting character too, right? She's like the bubbly, like goofy girl, but then when you hear her motives and how serious she is about them, like
well, because she got into this to make that paper.
It's about that paper. Boy.
Yeah, because her family is a construction family, and she wants to be able to help out because she didn't come from a lot of financial security.
Right, and the fact that she wants money, she's embarrassed about, but in the real world, right? In the real capitalist world, we live in America. We're in California. We want to be, we're artists, but we want to be able to support ourselves and make the money doing what we want to do. Like that, making good money from this kind of work is goal.
Yeah.
For people. I mean, you can't do your art for free forever.
Yeah.
You know, there is a dream to getting money from doing what you do as a celebrity.
Exactly. I mean, really, for a lot of us, the goal is to just be able to just make art and have that be enough money to survive.
Exactly.
It's still, but money is still at the heart of it there, because you need to just to be able to support your life.
Right, and Edith says an amazing line, how is supporting your livelihood not an admirable goal?
Exactly.
And then when
He's just crying and shit.
Well, because then she says why she wants the money. Like, first she's like, I want money, and I'm sorry, that's petty. And he's like, how is that petty? Like, we are all doing this. It's like what's his name?
I ain't doing this to be broke.
Like, Leodio's doing it to become a doctor, right? He's trying to make money so he can go to medical school. Like, he's to help people. Like, at the end of the day, he's like, I know it's shitty because I have to get money, but
that's life, unfortunately. And you're doing it for the right reasons.
You're doing it for the right reasons, and even if she had wanted it just for herself to have money, and he is still like, you want to support yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that.
She's a strong, independent.
And then when she's like, I want to help my family, he's like, oh, there's heart behind it too. Bravo. I love Ida's character.
Yeah.
I love how much heart he has.
I love him more and more every time I learn something about him, or every time he reveals his character a little bit more. I fall a little bit more for him.
I also noticed how much he uses his hands when he talks.
Yeah.
and they give
you
him,
can't see what I'm doing right now, but
and
he's like an airline attendant.
Yeah, and they always give him like little.
And
like he's the guy on Iron Chef.
He's the one that does the Full Metal Alchemist bits. Like,
is it really the same actor?
No.
No,
I mean,
in
the animation style, like he's one of the only characters that really does. You know how in Brotherhood we're watching every now and again to keep it like not super dark. They'll change the animation from being like anime to like just little doodles of the characters.
Oh, yeah.
And like Tenny's the only character who really does that. That isn't just the face.
Yeah.
Just the facial animations. Tenny's the only one who's like his full body goes into like weird. Like, I've got noodle arms and like, you know what I mean? Like in the background, I'm a background character. I still can't get over that Bakugo calls people that in this episode. He calls them extras.
He's like, you can't just call people that because you don't know their names.
Well, they are literally extras.
Like what? There was 2 characters in that entire crowd
that you would be able to notice, which was. Tensetsu, that's his name.
Yeah.
Tensetsu, the Steel Kirishima.
No, it's Tetsu.
Yeah, but isn't his full name Tensetsu?
I don't know, when they come up with the thing, it's Tetsu.
Yeah, well,
regardless, there's only 2 people in the crowd though that
it's him, and then it's the purple-haired dude who's from the like regular class. Who's like, hey,
everybody else literally is.
Literally, is like, I'm here to declare war against you guys. Like, come on, bro, the balls.
I like that dude.
Yeah. Oh, he's cool. He's great.
Only because his tone, where he's just like, yeah, I'm here.
Well, and knowing who he is, and in the comics where he goes. Amazing to see the attention to detail. Like, there's stuff that's happening here that's planned to have effect later on, and you don't even notice. You don't notice the first watch through, and I don't know how explanatory I want to get with this, but there's an interesting scene when the games start. Are we talking about the games?
Just a second. I actually want to explain what the games are.
Yeah,
I like to give a little bit summary of the episode.
Perfect. Yeah, we just kind of jumped into the episode. My bad.
So in this episode, for That's the Idea of Ochaco, they introduce the idea of the festival, and then it starts here in this next one, Roaring Sports Festival. The sports festival is like the Olympics, but with superpowers and with kids.
And much faster. Over like 2 days.
And...
as the anime watchers would know as the tournament arc.
Yeah.
And what they use this for is primarily being noticed. They're young kids, they can get picked up by agencies, so everybody is vying both for first and for literally any opportunity to be noticed.
Yeah. Well, also I don't know who the creator is, but I don't know his name. The creator of the show, but he has mentioned how tournament arcs are a great way, or just a great tool for character development.
Wait, we get to see these characters use their powers in lethal ways where we can develop them. We can show them learning how to use their abilities.
Because honestly, it's harder for you to use them in non-lethal ways. You have to be more creative.
Right.
And you could I could just freeze this guy and kick him and break him. No, I have to think around this.
Yeah.
And it's in a lot of shows, which a lot of people think that it did copy the tournament arc, but not in a negative sense.
Oh.
But from things like Hunter x Hunter and Naruto, where those are huge character development.
Yeah.
Arcs.
In the early parts of the story.
This is no different.
And in this one, they make a clear point to say that it's the entire school. The school has been divided up into 4 segments. They are support, business, and general studies in addition to the hero track. So they're all sort of fighting, and the big stakes raising moment is that if the kids in the hero track do poorly, they might be able to have their places pushed out for somebody in a different track to take their spot.
Yep.
So that can be a lot of these people are vying for their position.
We get the purple-haired kid. I don't know if we've gotten his name yet. I don't think we have. But the purple-haired kid who declares war, he goes up and he's like, there's a way that I can get accepted into the hero class.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you now, I'm not going to back down.
Yeah, because he's sort of a Bakugo. He doesn't want anybody getting in his way on his rise to the top.
Yeah.
It also again shows you how important the heroes are in this society, that the hero school is not just heroes. Mm-hmm. It's the business behind heroes.
Yeah.
You could come here and become the business side of a hero agency.
Which is kind of weird because you don't go to acting school to be a producer. This is one place where it sort of divides from...
Right.
Well, I think
but if let's say that there was one all-encompassing creative movie school, right? We would have been in the acting program of the school, which is admittedly the hard part of the business. I'm using quotations for it because it's all...
It's the flashy part.
Yeah, it's the flashy part of the business, right? Just like there would be tech or there would be business side of it. If you go to film school, there are all those different aspects of it. It's interesting that they combine those two things together.
But they also mention they're in the tournament kind of as fodder.
The business kids.
The business
kids. But they're learning how to. But they're face to face. They explain why though, because they're face to face with their product.
Yeah,
they're face to face.
They're all speculating on what they do, who they think is going to be picked up by whom. What if they were running an agency? What they would do.
That's real, and we see All Might as one of these celebrities being like, "Oh man, I hate that part of the business," but that's real.
Yeah,
with them just standing there saying bye bye sell
right.
bye sell
bye. I have
damn it pigeonholed them.
I have in my notes Aizawa as color commentary with a big exclamation point. Because I love Aizawa is giving color commentary when he doesn't want to do it, and also he's blind right now.
Yeah. Also, he's got his whole face wrapped and he's just been hospitalized.
They show his eyes, but how much can he see right now?
I kind of hope he's blind. I kind of hope that he's blind because that would take away his powers, and that's another.
They just want to.
It's an interesting movement. I like story development.
The teachers have to be able to teach the students.
But the fact that he couldn't and have that taken away from him, and he would anyway—that's an interesting story development.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying the story's about the students.
In an anime, it's not time. My Hero, it's not time yet for a teacher to die.
Right.
It's not time.
We have to care about them a lot more than.
But I already care about it.
Right.
You're gonna care about
them more and more. But they're gonna make you care more and more because these shows last longer than 12.
This is why I like 13-episode long series.
And then they're gonna rip them right from your gut.
Yeah, they're gonna make sure that the death is so frustrating that you're gonna be tears down your face.
And then they're gonna have an
days.
episode and a half after that where it's just sadness and raining.
I'm of the opinion that if you're going to kill off a character, I need to love them at the beginning of that episode, even if I haven't seen anything prior.
Oh, absolutely. You're right. But I'm just saying, you're going to love this character all the way through, and they're going to just string him along and string you along with these characters, and they're going to Game of Thrones them off, and you have no idea when or how it's going to happen. It'll happen at some point, but you're not going to be prepared for it because these are long string series. Because that's the other thing, right? This is a little off topic of the episode, but these are comics come to life.
Yeah.
Manga.
Right. But literally, though, they're comics, they're drawn pictures that are, designed in the way that comics are read.
Yeah.
Not how it's why some people don't like the superhero films, right? Because you have to watch multiple films to this one big blowout event film, right? Nobody wants to watch 12 movies to watch one movie, right?
Yeah.
I say nobody, but I mean, like, the people that's a big argument for the superhero films.
A lot of people treat those like you don't, like, these movies came out over years. We're not telling you, hey, you got to sit down for 3 days.
Well, comics happen weekly, right? You get your weekly chapter of this show or this series every week.
Yeah.
And so you're getting a little dose of it every week. The shows can't do that. The shows have to break it down into seasons, but even that, there's so much of the comics that they've got to make it all happen. So that's why these are so long. It's not like they're designing this to be a show.
Yeah.
It's a shonen. It's designed to be a comic book.
You have to get popular.
You
have to get popular as a manga to be made into a show. Because then they know so many people are reading this, they'll definitely watch it.
I mean, not necessarily. There are definitely anime that are designed to be just 12 episodes, like short. It was designed to be an anime. It was designed to be a show. But specifically shonen in general, like, I just think it was interesting to bring up. Like, yeah, it's written, because you're saying, like, I kind of like the shorter bursts of, like, a good storytelling in City. I'm like, yeah, you're right. We're watching this anime because we want to see these comic book characters on screen move around. That's why shonen are done. That's why they're so long.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was an interesting. This little side tangent. My bad. I got some stuff about the episode.
Shut up.
Yeah, that's the point I was making. They're great.
Besides Thor: The Dark World.
The end of the episode.
We can talk about our opinions on Marvel movies on our Marvel movie podcast. Let's get back to this episode.
At the end of episode 14, the season, All Might has lunch with Deku.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up.
First of all, in this episode, it's the first time we hear All Might's name, Toshino.
Oh, yes.
It's the first time we hear his real name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a big deal in terms of character development or what's the point. There's a point of us getting his name now.
Yeah.
If it makes him a little more like a person down to earth, is it because the torch is being passed sooner than anticipated? Is it because there's I just wanted to mention it so we can go back to it and see if it's important.
But why they brought it up now?
Right. It makes him more of a person.
Well, because they spend the whole first season explaining that he's a symbol.
Yeah.
And here at the start, it's the first episode of the second season where they reveal his name.
Yeah, it's almost like the first,
It is. It's the very first scene.
Yeah.
Which is
the very first thing they do.
The old man.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. Yeah. We don't know who. Well, we know who he is. But
I'm almost positive it was whoever had the power before All Might. But the very first thing they do is humanize him. They make him a little bit less of a symbol.
Right.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that's a huge part of this series, is as we go on, he becomes a little bit more human every single time.
Right, and there's a nice view of him inviting Deku to lunch and sitting down. And if you notice...
With that tiny-ass lunchbox. That's why you're not healthy, because you barely eat anything. All right, you weigh like 500 pounds.
That's a fair point, actually.
Get some good food in you. Maybe you feel better.
All Might sitting there, and I'd like to say he starts this lunch off the same way that the principal had him sit down and was like, slapped him on the wrist in the last season. He's like, we're going to drink some tea and we're going to talk.
Yeah.
And All Might, doesn't quite know how to be a teacher yet, but he's really trying, and this is one of those moments that I think it really comes through. He's having Deku self-reflect the whole thing, and we actually hear Deku being like, "Well, I did punch, and it didn't, I didn't break my arm. Like, that's a big deal." He's like, "Great, so we know it's possible with your current body. We just don't know how to make it happen."
Mm-hmm.
Great jumping point for this beginning of the season. We know Deku can use his powers without being a glass cannon.
Yeah.
Right? I just think that's incredible that we get that in the very first episode.
Yeah.
That's actually, I think, in the second episode where they have the lunch.
Is it? I thought it was at the end of the first episode.
I have, as a quote for episode 15, some aim for the top while others happily settle. The difference between the two mindsets is a big impact on how far you go.
You know what? You're right. He invites them at the end of the first episode, and then they're having lunch at the beginning of the episode. But you're right, because there's a line that bleeds over between both episodes, and he says, "I want you to tell the world during." Right. So we talked about the sports festival. Did we talk about how, like, big of a deal it is?
Yeah.
Like, Aizawa was like, yeah, we know you just almost died, but, like, this is fucking important. Like, it's important for me to get out of the hospital bed and show up to class to tell you that this shit's important.
Well, yeah, it's a high school competition that's aired around the world.
Everybody's watching.
Yeah, and it has a huge-ass stadium. And it's they say in the episode that the reason they're still going forward with it is partially because it helps them show that they're doing okay, and that last attack didn't actually harm them.
And All Might tells Deku, this is the moment where I want you to be your symbol. This is where I want you to tell the world I am here.
Yeah.
I want you to, like, not necessarily use my catchphrase, but he's using his catchphrase as I want this to be your moment.
Yeah. Your moment when you say, I am here.
Yeah.
Or whatever that looks like to you.
And Deku, he's going to be like, I'm in this area!
I am... standing on top of you.
Yeah, you can't do anything without
as
present in this scenario
down my face.
I also want to point out, I think the CG robots in this are beautifully composited. Those models are seamlessly worked into the background. They're beautiful.
So cool.
Yeah, so much better than like if you've seen the Batman Ninja movie and anime CG of that vein.
I haven't.
I haven't. Sorry.
They're awful. I haven't seen the movie. I've seen clips of it, and I didn't watch it because of that animation stuff.
Oh, okay.
Another All Might clip, a quote that I wrote down is, I hope you won't forget how you felt at the beach park. And this line, I think, I only wrote down because it, of one of our podcast sessions, a few episodes ago, where you talk about the importance of him cleaning up the beach. Mm-hmm. And when I first watched through, it was something that happened. But to me, it didn't resonate until you talked about the importance of him, like, cleaning up and taking care of the garbage and of him being able to take on all that by himself.
Yeah.
And so the lines, but specifically meant a big deal for me. And then when we start the training montage, right, he starts by running on the beach. Mm-hmm. He's back at the beach again.
Yeah.
And this time the second watch through of it, really, the beach resonated with me. I really hope that I notice more beach park callbacks.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too, because that's his origin, basically, is right there at that beach, so that beach holds a lot of emotional weight for him. Because it's where he learned not only how to train, but also how to be a better person and how to care for the community, which is necessary for a hero.
And I really like the training montage that shows, like, the difference between all the characters.
Yeah, he does a good job for that.
All right, you said, I think in the last episode, you talked about how Momo's reading, and while everybody else is doing, like, physical activities.
But even the way they're doing, like, Todoroki is, like, by himself in, like, a dojo or something in the dark.
And we actually see Bakugo, what he's training, take into effect in the next episode. Which is, I think, is amazing, like a detail. We see Bakugo using his bursts to keep himself in the air in the training segment, and then he does that to make a point in the sprinting.
Yeah,
he starts do, like, oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah, I love it. Let's actually move on to that one. Episode 16, in their own quirky ways. This one is the end of the obstacle course. Or actually, it is the entire obstacle course. It begins and ends in this one. Oh no, it starts in the last one.
Yeah, it just kind of they all kind of are bleeding together right now because it's all.
But yeah, in this one, at the end of the last one, Todoroki froze the robots while they were off balance to put everybody behind him, way behind him.
Really, just making a scene.
Yeah, really, just making a scene.
But he has to. He says, since my stupid old man is watching.
Yes.
No, my sarcastically, my dear old dad. At least in the dub.
Yeah. In the sub, he says, my stupid old man is watching.
But in the dub, he gives a very sarcastic, my dear old dad.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Oh, it's amazing.
It's very sarcastic.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck.
Oh, no, they're a little on the nose.
Yeah, but like I was like, I get it. I get your relationship with your dad right now.
Yeah, no, they're a little more on the nose. He's like, I fucking hate my dad.
Yeah, it's not like yes, I have to succeed because Pa's watching.
Can we talk about how Todoroki just like straight up is like, yo, Deku, I'm gonna destroy you.
Yes,
but he does it like very politely.
Yeah, he does it very politely.
He's not a mean person.
And Deku does the exact same thing to literally everyone. Very.
It's one of the lines, one of the quotes. Yeah, you're right. What I have? One of the quotes. All Might says, the slight difference in attitudes makes a big difference in the real world.
Yes.
And one of the lessons I felt like he's trying to pass on to Deku, and that Deku is going through, Bakugo and Todoroki already know, and they're trying to implement it.
Yes, because he says it explicitly at the end, where he was afraid that Deku's selflessness would be his weakness, and it turns out that Deku is still capable of putting himself first when necessary.
Absolutely,
and that's a tough lesson to learn.
Bakugo says it doesn't matter where you are as long as you rise to the top. Like, it doesn't matter what you see as long as you rise to the top. So it doesn't matter what I do right now. It doesn't matter how anybody sees me right now, because once I'm the top, that's what they're going to see.
They can't touch me. I'm up there.
Which is the society, and is I think one of the lessons that All Might is trying to teach. But
it's our society.
Exactly.
We constantly are forgiving monsters.
Yeah.
There's monsters at the top of both our industry and of every industry.
It literally, it goes way into that. We'll get there.
I'm not surprised. Because a lot of people with a lot of clout and a lot of power are sometimes actual monsters, and we forgive them just because they're at the top.
Yep. I love that in that moment with Todoroki and Deku, that Kirishima comes up and he's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't try fighting. And Todoroki's like, I'm not trying to pretend being friends. And Kirishima's like, I'm just trying to be nice.
Yeah, poor Kirishima. He seems like such a nice dude.
I wrote that. He's just, like, genuinely a nice guy. Like, he genuinely cares. Kirishima is probably one of my top 5 favorite characters from the show of all time. He's just so good. He's just a good dude. He's got a little bit of an aggression, like, I want to be a man, like, kind of, the toxic masculinity is kind of what he's struggling with.
Well,
he's never man enough.
He has kind of two sides that are armored and unarmored.
Right.
Oh. Yeah. That's true.
Like, he's very nice, but when he gets into a fight, he's intense.
Yeah.
When they talk about competition or he's in competition, he's intense.
That makes sense.
And not only that, but they added a character who literally pretty much has the exact same powers as him.
But it's
so now
almost
he's like, I have to be better than that guy.
But
like,
he's always armored.
Yeah.
The other guy is always armored. Even if he's not physically armored, he's still always the same hyped up person.
Yeah. It is an interesting implementation of Kirishima as we see him go forward.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a big deal. Also, this is the first time I feel like we hear about this, but there are characters, Momo and Todoroki, who didn't participate in the entrance exam.
Yeah.
They just
got in on recommendation.
Did they say that?
It's not the first time that we've heard.
Well, they make it a big deal in this episode.
Well, yeah, that's true.
They do make it a big deal, but it's not the first time that they mentioned it.
Yeah, right, they said it earlier.
I just noticed it in this episode because they made a big deal.
Because when they first when they don't know each other, everybody's thinking like, oh, these two got in and they weren't even.
But now they're showing up.
But now they're showing up.
Bakugo, don't declare war to the wrong person. Oh, he's so hard. He's trying so hard.
Yeah.
I love him. I can't help but love Bakugo, man. Our friend Blaze would hate to hear this podcast because I'm just like, Bakugo.
Does Blaze hate Bakugo?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love Bakugo.
I don't like Bakugo too much, but he is.
I wouldn't be friends with Bakugo in high school.
He
for
is
sure.
Yeah, well,
better
Bakugo,
Sasuke though.
Yeah.
Bakugo mostly bothers me just because he reminds me of me at 14. But I feel like for that exact same reason, I'm constantly willing to forgive him because I'm like, I know.
I'm rooting for him in the same way that I'm rooting for Deku to become more confident. I'm rooting for Bakugo to become more empathetic. It's something that can happen, and when you're 14 and you're like, this is how I am, and you don't know.
Yeah.
You
think that's going to be your personality forever, and then you hit 15 and you're like, oh, this is a different personality from 14.
Everybody is watching. So the pro heroes recognize Deku as soon as he starts taking action. They're like, isn't that the kid that we were yelling at a few months ago? Shigaraki. Tomura Shigaraki is watching. The villains are watching this stupid sports show.
Yeah.
Right? It's a big deal. And I just think it's interesting. That everybody, even the villains, are like, we're gonna not we're going to stop attacking for a little bit because we want to see what these kids can do.
Yeah, because it still matters, because it is still a bunch of young, next generation people showing off their powers.
They're watching film, man. They're studying them.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about how everybody gets through the obstacle course, because that really does show off who they are, what their powers are, and their personalities. Mm-hmm. For example...
the placements.
Yeah, the placements are at the end. How they actually give everybody a place and work for where they got all through. But like... I don't remember his name, but I call him Sleepy Time. He just has people like straight up carry him.
Oh, the purple hair dude. Yeah, that was one of the moments that I was going to say. Yeah, it's really really interesting.
They haven't explained this quirk.
They haven't even told you anything about him. But you don't even know his name.
But like, Sleepy Time just has people fucking carrying.
They're just
But you can also see on their faces. Yeah, you can they look like.
You can see.
Like they don't look like the rest of the people.
Nice attention to detail with this character, and I love him so much. He gets so cool. The comics.
Now, the main story of this episode is Todoroki, Bakugo, and Deku.
Right, we've now had a third rival who's trying to take the top. Mm-hmm. Obviously, can we talk about how Deku does this without using his quirk?
Yeah, just a second. Let me describe what it is.
Oh, right.
They end on...
I'm just excited.
I know you're excited, but I have to summarize so we all know where we're at.
That's fair.
The whole obstacle course ends on a big minefield. They know where the mines are. You can see where they are, but you still have to shuffle around them. So Todoroki gets there first, Bakugo gets there second, and then Deku has to work his way around the fact that he's way far behind.
Yeah.
And how does he get through?
He sees that one of the robots that Todoroki blew up at the very beginning of the thing, he takes the metal, like a metal piece that's like his size that he's able to carry. Not only does he's like, this can be used to deal damage, this can be used, but it can also be used to block projectiles and things in my way. And then he just is running through the course. Mm-hmm. He is, not only is he still in the lead for, other than, the two characters that are crazy fast at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? Bakugo just like, I was talking about in the training video, and Todoroki Icemanning his way just through the whole thing. Deku's like, out of the people that are just like on foot, Deku's in the front.
Yeah.
It goes to show how much he's really worked on his regular physical exam stuff. Remember at the beginning, before the sports takes place, he's like, I scored the lowest in all the physical exams.
Because he does this whole part basically quirkless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does the whole thing quirkless.
He didn't need a quirk for anything that he did.
But he's been training the entire time since school started as well. It's not just been like, so there's more growth than from the first day at school, right?
Yeah.
Which they show throughout the show, even later on.
Yeah,
almost every time he's at home, he is working out.
He's lifting weights while he's watching his All Might videos,
which is that's kind of weird.
Watching his YouTube videos, crying about
still watching that video.
What he ends up doing though is, because he is so far behind the two in the lead, and he knows he needs to make a big splash because All Might told him to. Mm-hmm. He ends up digging up a bunch of the mines and using the piece of the machine like a little sled to set them off and propel them forward.
Yep.
Which, that is such a fucking gamble. Like, he just sort of prayed one would work.
He says so, too.
Yeah, he does.
He's like, that could not have worked. I could have blown up my arm. Like,
well, he wouldn't have hurt him. Well, he could have hurt himself stacking them all up.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
In the real world, he just goes straight up into the air.
Or depending on how he hit the board, I think it's the placement of how he landed the board.
He went perfectly straight.
And then he did it again!
Yeah.
Wait. He did it again with a flip and step on the other two running people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, really trying to show up. And, man, is Bakugo pissed now, because not only has he lost to Deku 3 times now that he's significantly been Deku did something that I haven't done. He saved All Might. He beat him in the game, and now he's beating me in the sports festival. Mm-hmm. Not only is Deku ahead of him, but Todoroki also beat him. Bakugo is no longer even second place.
Yeah.
He's third place.
Mm-hmm.
Which the whole time I was thinking Todoroki, just giant ice wall, and you finish him first.
Yep.
And you finish first.
I mean, Todoroki's not trying, but he even says he's not, when he starts doing the ice sliding thing, he's like, I'm no longer worried about what's behind me. I'm worried about getting in the front.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, but before when you were worried about it, you should have just ice walled.
Fair point, actually.
And then he could have walked backwards to the finish line.
Yeah. No, he's right.
That's true, yeah.
Also, but I don't think Todoroki, it's about Todoroki. I mean, Todoroki's the character. I feel like it's not about undermining other people. Todoroki, it's about doing the best he can do. He's not Bakugo.
Yeah, well, that's why he always unfreezes the ice.
Yeah,
after.
I'm sorry.
He's like, I'm just here to win.
Right, with that one battle in the first season where Todoroki just demolishes everybody, and then you find out that the Invisible Girl is there, and he's like, I could have killed you.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit.
Fuck, I was letting loose.
Yeah.
But he genuinely does care about people like that.
Yeah.
It's how when he tells Deku, I'm going to win, it's him saying, I respect you and I know you're there.
I'm going to shake your hand.
I'm going to shake your hand, but I want you to know, right now, I'm going to beat you.
Right.
And when Bakugo does it, he does it to everyone. And Deku points out that he's not as callous, that Bakugo's not as callous about it as he would have been a couple episodes ago. But it's still kind of a dick move.
Oh, right. I mean, the reason I think I keep talking about Bakugo all day is every single episode, Bakugo acknowledges and learns something, and then we see it happen in an episode that comes afterwards. Like, out of all the characters that are learning, he learns the fastest.
Yeah.
And it's visually apparent. I just think it's such an interesting character to follow. I'm very much a Bakugo fan. It's not because he just has blonde hair, like all of my other favorite characters. Bakugo's not even in my top 5. Kirishima beat Bakugo, so...
I also want to bring up when Deku is about to win, and the voice guy says, wow, Eraserhead, you really did a good job teaching him. And Eraserhead says, this has nothing to do with me, this is these kids and what they've achieved. And voice guy goes, there you go! It looks like Eraserhead is a terrible teacher!
The quote he gives is, they got each other fired up on their own.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't know what they're doing. He's like, I'm watching this for the first time too. They do not do this in class.
Yeah, they'd be bullshitting in class.
I love the moment after they've announced the winners for the first round. They sort of all meet up. We're about to start the second round. And Ochaco goes up to Deku, and she's like, I'm so happy for you, but she looks really upset and pissed off, even though she got there pretty quick too.
She did too.
The ranking's really interesting. Who was, Minette, no, Aoyama.
French guy.
Yeah, Aoyama.
French belly guy.
Yeah.
And I find it kind of weird because one of the things I really liked about French belly guy is that he's constantly interrupted, he's constantly being stepped on by everyone else, and he never fucking once lets it get to him. No, I kind of love it.
The bit where he's like, he's going back and forth.
Yeah.
Wait, guess where I was during the fight? We don't ever see him during those episodes. Yeah. Guess where I was during the fight? Guess where I was during the fight? When Sue's finally like, where were you? He's like, it's a secret.
Motherfucker, he was hiding behind a rock, probably.
Exactly.
I fucking love it. He doesn't let it get to him.
It is a real secret to the audience. We will never know.
I don't think he was hiding. I think he was part of it, and I think he just wasn't shown because he wants to be on display, and the show isn't giving him the gift of
being on display. He's not gonna be the best genist.
Oh,
he's not allowed to.
And one of the things I've loved about him is that no matter what, he's never let it stop him.
No. He's a great character.
And one of the things that kind of bothered me
he is never affected by anything.
Yeah, and one of the things that kind of bothered me was he did get last, and he was clearly affected by it. And I was like, oh no, man, you lose with style.
Yeah, that was the one time he was like, 42nd place.
There's definitely an interesting couple of chapters where there's a bunch of reasons why a bunch of the other characters are not hanging out with the crew, and Midori is just hanging out with Aoyama for a few chapters, and it's so interesting. It's one of the most it has nothing to do with the plot of the show, and it's just a few chapters of Aoyama being like, Izuku's my best friend right now, and it's awesome. It's hilarious. I have an interesting scene, right? They mentioned the cavalry battle. Do you want to talk about that? Do you remember how they explained it?
Oh, yes, is the very end. In the next episode, I assume they're going to do it.
Right.
Where everyone is assigned a point value based on where they came in the obstacle course.
Right.
And who you beat, you get those points. So everybody's going to be, first of all, forming teams based around that, because if you have a really good team, you're going to be more desirable, and other people are going to want to attack you.
Right.
And especially if you've got number one, because you basically golden snitch your way to a win on that. He's got like 10 million points.
He's got 10 million points and no quirk.
Yeah.
10 million points and no quirk that people don't know, but which could either make it more scary because people don't know what it is, or people that do know what it is know that he can't use it.
Yeah.
Right? That's golden points. That being said, people who, there's such an interesting dynamic. Who's going to join his team? Right?
Because you're an automatic target.
Yeah, people have to join you at some point.
Which, the first thing I thought when I thought of the point system, like me personally, I'm not going after the 10 million.
No.
That's going to be a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
It's going to be a shit show over there, and we're all going to be fighting for one thing to win.
Right.
Let me just take out some other people and just, it's a tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As long as I stay in the tournament, I can keep winning. So if I got to get third to move on, I'll just get third.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's It's not it's not the final thing. So why do I need to get first place? Actually,
there is an interesting shot that I really liked. I feel like I'd probably do that.
Which I forget what happens, but are there characters like that?
Definitely. We'll see. I mean, you've got characters who want the top prize, obviously.
Yeah.
That's a lot of these personalities that we're dealing with. But, imagine, Momo's not going to be like...
Yeah, I'm going after Deku.
Momo's going to think that way.
I'm going to just snatch up some 40s and 50s and get on through.
We're rewatching that. I don't remember exactly what happens during the cavalry battle. There's only a couple of episodes. But I'm excited to rewatch it and, really take a deeper look into, the mentality of that. Because you make a good point. Yeah. I don't know
how each character is going to approach it.
I might be, going for second best.
Yeah.
The first best, everybody's going to be going for, but the second best is the second most.
Well, and plus...
And nobody's going to be going for that.
Yeah. Well, and plus, it looked like they were going on a scale of 5, increasing by increments of 5, which means that...
up to 41.
Yeah, it'd be up to 41, and then, 42 is just 10 million.
Yeah.
So if you're going after one, you're going after this golden snitch win, where you beat him and you just sort of automatically win. So, back off from that... Because
you should participate in the game.
Participate in the game.
And trying to get the most points.
Yeah. You might as well just do the actual game of trying to win the most points. Like you said, Ken, just picking off the people who are high, but not the win.
Well, that might be the lesson of the sport itself, right? The way it's designed to teach these kids.
Yeah.
Right? You shouldn't go for the number, the flashy point. Mm-hmm. You should be trying to do the best you can.
And also, you base the rankings of one competition...
Right.
On a different competition.
That's also a really good point. Why?
So,
You might not be good at this.
Well, they mention it. It's so that everybody targets the first player. It's on purpose so that.
But never mind that. But from there on down, you could have finished in second because you have a speed quirk because it was a race.
Right.
Yeah.
But that might not be as effective in a different competition.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. I'm sure there are characters that know that as well.
Yeah.
That they're going to be more useful.
That's what I'm thinking. What do I need to advance?
Right.
Mm-hmm. What place do I need to get to advance?
And
I'm going to shoot for...
That's why the sports festival is interesting, right, guys?
Yeah.
The shot I'm talking about is right after she's midnight. We didn't even talk about midnight.
Oh, yes. The teacher whose superpower is BDSM.
Being the R-rated hero.
They don't explain it, and I kind of hope they never do.
They show what her power is.
I don't remember.
They show her power?
Not they will.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't shown it.
Yeah. I was I kind of hope they never do. I just hope there's a teacher who, her superpower is I can pull off BDSM gear in public.
Yeah.
I can pull off all the puns without anybody saying things.
Yeah.
And lick my lips talking in front of high schoolers.
Right. She's interesting character, but right when she says, she makes the point of being whoever's in first place becomes the target. We get this nice shot that I think is super interesting of all these characters with red eyes targeting Izuku.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, oh, everybody's watching me. The only character on that shot that you don't see their eyes. You just assume that they're part of it. But they're the only character facing towards Izuku, so you don't see their eyes, is Ochaco. Mm-hmm. She's the only character you don't see the red eyes from.
I assumed they were going to team up.
I don't remember who the teams are at all. I really don't. Yeah. All I remember is one character who's like, I'm going to beat you this time, and you're like, okay. Sure.
Yeah, that shot, I'd be off in the corner, like.
But I just think that
calculator. So how many points am I gonna need to?
I just think that shot was really interesting. I mean, I don't know if that shot particularly led you to believe that, but
No, I think I just kind of thought of it based off of their dynamic.
Just the way they're going.
And I just think that it was interesting that out of all the people that has their eyes on him, maliciously, she's not one of them.
Yeah.
But she is facing him. Mm-hmm. She is the only one who literally has her eyes on him.
She's got a different type of maliciousness.
Yeah, right.
In her eyes.
Nice.
Well, let's leave it on that. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
See ya.